In Hong Kong, our decision on whether or not to identify Hong Kong as having a high degree of autonomy from China is still pending. We're closely watching what's going on there. This week, pro-democracy legislators were manhandled while trying to stop a procedural irregularity by pro-Beijing legislators. Leading Hong Kong activists like Martin Lee and Jimmy Lai were hauled into court. Actions like these make it more difficult to assess that Hong Kong remains highly autonomous from mainland China.
President Trump mentioned last week that the U.S. may cut off all relationship with China. Would you like to weigh in your thoughts? Should the United States ponder an official relationship with Taiwan?
You know, the president talked about how we're going to respond, how he's beginning to think about responding to the calamity that has befallen the world as a result of the actions of the Chinese Communist Party. I don't want to get ahead of him in terms of talking about how the administration will respond to that, but you can already begin to see the outlines of it. I talked about this with our 5G national security trifecta. You can already see how we're beginning to work to make sure we get America first, that we get this foreign policy right, and that we respond to these risks that the Chinese Communist Party presents to the United States in an appropriate way. You saw yesterday, I think it was, or maybe it was the day before, the Department of Defense make announcements about work on rare earth minerals, so that, again, we wouldn't be dependent on a nation that has demonstrated its unreliability, its willingness to steal our intellectual property, all the things that, frankly, for decades, and this isn't remotely partisan, Democrat presidents, Republican presidents, all just turned the other way because of 1.5 billion people and the opportunity for enormous markets and this hope that engagement would lead to a change in the behavior of the Chinese Communist Party. It didn't happen. And President Trump has been incredibly serious about making sure that we do the right things for the American people. I know he'll continue to do it. We continue to work on this to develop an appropriate way to think about how we can get the Chinese Communist Party and China to behave in a way that's consistent with how we ask every nation to behave.